Hello, excuse me. Just adjusting. Yeah, the hair's a bit weird today because I've had a shower and it's still drying. So hope we can get past that and then talk about Kerblam. So yes, if you are nobody's here right now, but if you are new to these reviews, you're watching it later, new to these reviews, basically what happens is I talk about the episode in a very general, broad sense, without spoilers, and then we have a lovely little sign that I put up so you know that you're in the spoiler zone. So, one moment, I need a drink of water. Because I am a professional. Kablam. I liked it. I thought it was a good episode. Interesting. Um, there are a lot of before I get into the spoilers, before I actually get into it and sort of be sort of broad strokes again. I do believe there are a lot of politics that probably can be read into this episode. Both workplace politics and greater worldwide politics, especially when it comes to Labour and everything. So, bye. Yes. So I enjoyed it. The guest actors, again, were really good. 5 main guest actors. The only one whose name I actually recognize is Lee Mack. Well, technically 6. So you've got Lee Mack as one of the dispatch, the pickers. I'm gonna they give him different names, but I'm just gonna fulfillment. There you go, which is the same as picking. And there's another lady who I recognise from stuff, but I don't know her name. And then you've got the older boss guy who I can't remember his name, so I'm just going to call him Pinstripe. And so, admin lady is Judy. And you got the 2 younger people, Kira, who's adorable, and Charlie, who is an interesting character. And then, so yeah, you got Lee Mack, the two bosses, and the 2 younger people, and then arguably a 6th guest cast member, that being the voice of the robots. It was a good episode. Like I said, Lee Mack was the only guest actor whose name I recognise, but that's not to say I don't recognise the people. It just means I don't know their names offhand. But yeah, everyone was really good. It was a very interesting cast, and the way it was all put together. And yeah, and if you've ever worked in big company, big warehouse, big slightly faithless corporate, but I've never worked anywhere that big, but I have worked in warehouses for time. I've done the packaging side of things, and sticking labels on things, and so I've done that, but not in such a large scale. I was just thinking, I've worked in big buildings, not as big as the ones that they're presenting. Oh, actually, no, I'm kind of lying, because like the ones I've worked with somewhat regularly have been somewhat small, like a smaller team of people. But I did do a week at the Wine Society, as a week for a few days, the Wine Society covering someone's sickness. And that is a much bigger environment. There's a lot more people. That I only got to say, sort of said hello, sort of got to have conversations like half a dozen people. And you've got the big warehouse for all the wines obviously kept. And so I can kind of relate to that. The idea of hello, goodbye. The idea of being like in the high vis army. I wear high vises a lot. So for me personally, I found quite a bit of this quite relatable. Actually, it was interesting, and lots of, like I said, you could possibly read politics into it, and we could get to that in the spoilers, but for it being an alien moon, quite down to earth in a lot of ways, quite a humble story. So good guest cast, good pacing. I thought the mystery on it was well presented. The Doctor's adorable as normal and very enthusiastic, and everyone had a good part. Because the concern I always had at the beginning of the series, and sometimes lingers, is that Three Companions is a very crowded TARDIS, and they do find the balance. They are giving everyone stuff to do, so it's quite good. Everyone, there's no sort of big emotional scenes this time around, but that's okay. We had an emotional episode last week, but yeah, it was. I wouldn't say necessarily it was as fun as the Saranga that episode. Saranga problem. Sorry, I haven't really watched it yet. So it was kind of had its own energy and lightness to it, but it was dealing with. It was definitely more fun than last week. Demons of the Punjab. It is one I'd probably sit and enjoy again, but actually, I think it would be an interesting one to rewatch. So, yeah, good episode, kind of fun, interesting messages. I would recommend it. I would. I think it's, if you're already invested in this series, you're going to be watching it anyway. But yeah, it's fun and I enjoyed it. So good guest cast and all that. So yeah, with that said, with that out of the way, let's just dive into the spoiler zone. Where are you, folks? Just get my glamorous assistant Forks here to help me hold the sign. Ella, hello. We're entering the spoiler zone, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, I enjoyed it. It was fun. And if you don't want to stick around for the spoilers, I won't take offence. But yes, we are now in. Hey, there we go, and it is in situ. Make sure we're fully in frame. We are in situation. We are in the spoiler zone. So yeah, they're racing through the vortex. Doctor's complaining about not being able to, still having trouble with the new systems, which I think she's just deflecting because she's never been the best pilot. And she realized, they said, what we're doing, can we slow down, can we cut down the turbulence? I said, we're avoiding something. Oh no, wait, it's delivery. And then she gets this delivery, the Kerblam Man! Yay, I love the Kerblam Man! And she's really enthusiastic. And they're all like looking at this weird robot thing. And, she opens it up and it's a Fez. And she's like, I don't remember ordering a thing. It must have been ages ago. And she puts it on. Does it still suit me? And so she's wearing a Fez for a little while, which I thought was a very cute nod to the Matt Smith era. Because I would say that I think Matt Smith wore it a little better, but he also wore it for a little bit longer. But she does look very cute in the Fez. And then she's basically explaining that Kerblam is the big dispatch company. They are the online warehouse. They are the sellers of the things. And Ryan's all like, oh, and they still use bubble wrap, which is very endearing and probably something I would do as well. So I enjoyed that. So yeah, she's looking at this Fez and she's like, they see the dispatch note, it says, help me. So of course they go to Kerblam, which is on the moon of Kandara. So you get this huge big pink thing in the sky, and yeah, they said, the whole moon is the Kerblam warehouse. It's the whole thing, and it's been like a couple 100 years, which is a long time to dedicate a moon to a singular purpose. But I guess that's going to be a process. So yeah, they go undercover because they're like, wow, this place is huge. How are we going to find anybody? How are we going to find the person's thing? And Ryan's like, it reminds me of when I was working. And she's like, brilliant. So they basically go undercover as workers, and there's the whole thing of Judy, the head of people, you know, so I don't see your names on here. I'm sorry, you're not on the system. That's a Facebook update. I don't really need that right now. So the doctor shows their credentials with the psychic paper, and then obviously Jiggery Poker is the lady's automated clipboard, and she's like, "Oh, you're related to the first lady or first woman." And like, we don't like to brag, you know, we keep it on the down low. I said, "Oh well, you know, that's I don't know what's going on with the. Oh, here's your names. Huh? How strange." So yeah, so they're trying to keep it on the low down, and then Judy's basically giving them induction. She's taking them all around. She's telling them all about this thing about how they're proud to have 10% organic workers, you know, up the people or whatever, you know, and so this is where the politics kind of comes into it, because you've got the whole idea that there was like some kind of revolution, and they like because they make the line about how everyone's so busy looking at their smart devices that they aren't realizing that the technology is taking over around them. And there was kind of this like revolution of people saying, no, we want jobs. We don't want it just to be automated. And it's the whole idea that you're lucky to have the job. And yeah, so that was interesting. But so yeah, they have to have 10% workers, and she's proud that she's doing that and achieving that and having that 10% organic workforce. She gets spoiled. Not organic, not people workforce. I think it's kind of implied that they are sort of human, but I think because they are suggested that they all are from the main planet, so I guess they're Kandarians, for want of a term. But they are people, they're humanoid, organic people. And the rest of the workforce are these robots or teammates who all have these kind of fixed smiley faces in a slightly we'll say rictus grin. It's supposed to be friendly, and it's like comparative to something like the Smilers from The Beast Below. They're not that creepy. They are kind of, you could see them as like masks or something. In fact, wouldn't surprise me if at some point they do produce masks of these characters. They've got the big blue eyes, so they're quite friendly looking overall. Just a little bit, you know, the more you look at them, the more creepier they become, but they're not thing. There's Lee Mack's character, Dan, sort of walks past one of them, says, "All right, you know, whatever it's called it." He said, "How's the family?" He said, "That is not my name, but I appreciate your workplace banter." I'm like, fair enough. He's like, "Oh, every day the same, every day the same." So he's being the jolly worker and all this. Yeah, so they're going through their induction. They see the warehouse, like a massive, like, you know, miles and miles of, you know, long and wide and deep, and you know, they're like, "Oh, how are we going to do this?" So they get assigned. They go into a full body scanner and are assigned jobs based on, you know, physical attributes, like, you know, how fit the system thinks they are and where it thinks they will fit, which is an interesting way of doing it. And they get like loop tags, so they get like they get tagged with these things. They've got different colored lights on them, so they like ankle bracelets, and then because Ryan makes a go, "We're under house arrest," and he said, no, it's just to give you your work assignment, and they sort of track your progress and such. And he makes it always a bit like my old place, and like Judy's like, "Oh, someone with experience, how wonderful!" And she's, I'm probably coming across a bit thing, but the way she does it, she is quite endearing. She's quite sincere, very enthusiastic. She even goes, "I don't really talk this much." I'm like, "Oh, that's a bit weird." And then she notices the doctor has 2 hearts, and she goes, "Oh yeah, gift to the first lady, a great medical thing. I don't want to talk about it." And all right, fair enough. Ryan's dyspraxia comes back up in this story, which is cool because they all go to their assignments. There's lots of, "Oh, can my dispatches?" No, only purples are in dispatch. So she switches colours with Graham, and as it turns out, Graham went to maintenance. So I'm not sure how the system read the doctor and her 2 hearts, and maybe it somehow read her advanced age, because regeneration is always presented as being a whole new body, a whole new life, and we've seen, well, through Tom Baker just doing it forever, and Matt Smith's final episodes where the Doctor was himself for the same body for such a long lifetime, that the Doctor can and will physically age within a single lifetime. But does all those lifetimes still add up? Is the computer system advanced enough to read their life as hundreds, if not thousands of years, depending on what system you're using? It's a bit hard to register how old the Doctor's supposed to be now because of the time jumps that Matt Smith went through, and then the these final episodes. So, but then again, janitorial duties is quite a physical job. So I don't know. I'm not sure why the computer decided that Graham was best suited for dispatch and the Doctor for janitorial, except maybe for the gag of the reveal, because they all go off to their assignments and like the robot one says, no, he didn't say woohoo. Robot one says, the Doctor and Ryan, a good name, come with me please. And then Yaz is taken to her assignment by a different person, different robot, and then Graham's like, what about me? He's like, welcome to maintenance, Graham. Like, oh great. And the Doctor's like, so Ryan's in the dispatch, so it's Ryan, the Doctor, and a young lady called Kira, who are working dispatch, and like basically the parcel comes down the chute. Oh yeah, we find out rule 1, don't go on the conveyor belts because that's bad. And I can agree with that. Going on conveyor belts is not the best health and safety protocol. So yeah, they're talking to Kira, and they're getting on really well. And they're all having a bit of back and forth. And Ryan mentions about him having a coordination problem because like Kira's like, oh, you're really good. And said, oh, I wasn't when I first started in my old place. It took me ages to get used to it. Like people were covering for me. And Kira's having the whole thing about, I just imagine people opening their parcels because I got a gift once. And this young lady must be about 25. And she said that the only time she got a present was, her birthday last year, which was some chocolates from Judy, which is both sad and sweet. I've always said one of the sweetest, saddest moments in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was the moment when Harry wakes up for Christmas morning, and Ron's like, you've got, he's like saying to Ron, what was that you're wearing? That was just a Weasley job, but I think you've got one as well. And Harry's like, presents! I've got presents! And I don't know if it's because I don't remember being affected by reading the book, but watching the film, I don't know if it's Dan's delivery or just the fact that a little boy like that should not be surprised that he has Christmas presents. So it kind of reminded me of that Kira's never had, because Ryan's like, what about your mum and dad? It's like, never knew them. I thought, what system was she in that she never even like got presents or something? That was really sad. And kind of, everyone should have a present. No, I like getting presents. Everyone should have something. So that kind of reminded me of that. So Kira's adorable. Ryan's dyspraxia comes into it just in the sense of like, oh yeah, I sometimes have trouble with coordination, but it's okay once I get the hang of things. And that's quite nice. It's not been forgotten that he's dyspraxic. And I did read an article from someone, I can't remember where I read it, but basically they were saying like, speaking as a dyspraxic person, yay representation. So I thought, I'm not, but that other person was. So yeah, it's nice that there is someone that they can sort of say, hey, that's like me. So you've got so Dr. Ryan are with Kira. Then you've got Yaz with Dan, who is in fulfillment or picking. So basically, you walk around the warehouse. You've got your gun. You get your job item, and you go find the box. so they're chatting. She's asking about stuff, and like, oh, you ever see anyone who's like, stressed out or feels like they're in trouble or anything? And Dan's like, word of warning, just they can hear you. Sometimes they can listen to like random listening maintenance protocols or whatever to say, look, thing. And the robot does a couple of points. Say, please keep friendly workplace banter to designated break times to help productivity. And he does that a couple of times, gives them sort of gentle warnings. And Yaz gets a thing on those. He's talking about how long it's been since he's been back to Earth. If you keep your head down, you might be on a poster. And he's on he's this thing of Dan on a poster. Hey, and it's kind of cute and endearing. He said, "I sent a copy to my daughter to put on a wall." And he's like, "How old is she?" She's 6. She works upstairs in filing. So I'm joking. She's back on the home world, and I see her twice a year. Because that's his splurge. He saves up his money, goes back home a couple times a year to see his daughter and ex-wife, I guess. He implies that he wasn't a good husband to her mother. And the rest of the money he saves up for her education. So that kind of gives you an indication of what the system's like. But he says like, she made this heart necklace. Like he says what the metal is, but I can't remember what it was. It just says Dad, and he wears it all the time, so that's very sweet. So anyway, she Yaz gets a thing on her scanner saying, antique lamp, like 999 something or other. And Dad's like, no. So that area, almost nothing happens there anymore. Very rarely go down there. Last person to go down there kind of got lost and won't soon again. So no, not on your first day. People, I'll take this for you because you've just started and you don't know where you're going. So he's being noble, he's being kind of sweet, but she follows him anyway. And he kind of gets disappeared, which is a shame because I like Lee Mack. And so Dan kind of disappears, which is a shame. And then so Graham's when we finally get back to Graham, he's sort of leaning on his mop like this, and the robots are like, protocol 101, do not drink the any of the cleaning fluids. He's like, mate, I know. So he meets Charlie, who's the other maintenance guy, janitor guy, and he's like, before Lee Mack disappears, he sees a robot in the wrong area because it's a dispatch bot. He's not supposed to be down in fulfillment, and he says, "Oh, hang on, don't worry, mate. I'll report. I'll send a file up." So it's not like he's intimidated by the robots. He's just like, "You're in the wrong place. Is there some kind of system error? Let me file it for you." And then he gets attacked, with Yaz following him and her barely escaping as well. So then we meet Charlie, who's very, he's a bit shy and awkward. He's another young lad. Again, not much more than mid-20s, I'd say. And he's like, I didn't think anyone would ever be down here again. And he's explaining, because like obviously Ryan's listened to the whole spiel. Graham. He's like, so what actually happens around here? How do you actually do it? And you get a call, you've got to go to the spill, fix whatever the problem is, and then sort of come back, and you get timed or. So Graham starts sort of developing a relationship with him, finding out what's going on. They all meet up in the rec area because they keep having these power drains, and someone makes a comment about all these power drains and people are complaining about things being late and all this stuff. And so we've got everyone in play. They're in the rec area. It turns out that Kira and Charlie have a definite crush on each other. It's really sweet. She drops all her stuff and he picks it all up for her and like, oh, hi, yay, thanks. And so that's a very cute moment between the two of them. So basically they realize people are going missing. They realize something's happening. The supervisor, the Pinstripe, is mean to Kira, and the doctor has a go. As respect goes both ways, you want people to like you like them, and you don't be mean to her. He says, it's all right. So she basically stands up for him, and then it turns out people are disappearing and they don't know why, and she tries to tell Judy and Pinstripe, so what's going on here? Why is this all happening? And like they're like, what happened to being undercover? And she's like, no, people are disappearing. I don't like bullies. I don't like conspiracies, and I don't like something else. And so she's like, this is a whiff of all three. Now I'm upset. So they go out the office. They hide in the alcove. You ever hidden in an alcove? Because they make jokes about her having poked wasp nest when she was a lad, and she's like, oh, speaking of wasps, did I ever tell you about the time I met Agatha Christie? I like that. I like, because people, I'll be honest, Unicorn and the Wasp wasn't one of my favourite episodes, but people would say about the meeting famous people episodes can be a bit, especially I think there's been at least one a series since the show's come back. I don't know about, because like I say again, I haven't seen every episode. But the Doctor has always been name dropping famous people they've met, and it's nice to actually have a reference to a famous person that the Doctor's met that we've actually seen that adventure. We actually know what that story is, so that was kind of cute. Yeah, basically they break back into the office. They find out that Pinstripe has a paper trail. He's been keeping files in this thing, and you're like, why have you got all these files? What's going on here? Why is he keeping? Why is he thinking? And so they think he's targeting. Judy comes in and says, hey, what are you doing here? Your loops told me that you were back in the office, and they said, well, there'll be no point telling you that people got lost, is it? She said, no. And then basically they tell her, they say, look, you're the head of people. People are going missing. And Pinstripe's got all these analog files about it, and like, what's going on. And she's like, well, I don't know. And the Doctor's like, I really want to trust you. I really want to believe you're telling me the truth. And she's like, no, I'm head of people. I care about people. And Charlie comes in, and there's a big system drain, not just a system drain, but a shutdown. And they're like, so, well, hello, two people. And they're like, so if everything is shut down, if all the systems down, why is that one robot still active? And it basically goes to attack Charlie. And they're like, oh no, Charlie will help. And Jodie gets a badass moment where she just rips off the robot's head. That was a bit unexpected, because the Doctor's trying to sonic it and they're trying to bash it, and Jodie's like, poink. All right, what was that all about then? So I like Judy. Judy we like. Hello. What's in the box? That's a bit harsh. Bubble wrap. We haven't got to that part yet. But we are in the spoiler zone. People who've just joined. Yeah, so she said to Charlie when he's all sort of stressed out about being attacked, oh, it's all right, you just breathe, you just calm. And Charlie says, no, she does. She works to make sure there are human workers everywhere. Excuse me, I need to... Oh, my hair's still a bit wet, so it's cold. No, I didn't. You don't understand. I get the reference to what's in the box. I see I've seen 7. I understand. So yeah. So they basically all suspect Pinstripe as being somehow behind the thing, and they realize, because it's such an old system, they need to. Because Graham and Charlie that's how they end up in the office. They get the plans for the thing. Oh, keyrings. That one's keyrings and that one's Skittles. Now you know. Is that distracting? There you go. So they get the plans because they in the reception area they've got these cabinets that have got plans in it, and he's like, oh, you've got the codes for all these. And well, yeah, the inside of the cabinets need cloning. Yes, thank you. Sorry, I like talking to people, and it's nice that you're interacting, and that's very cool, thank you. But it does make me lose my flow, so one moment. So yeah, they get the plans to the building, like, goes right down to the core of the planet, the moon. And so they've got the thing, that's why they end up in the office. And then they realise, oh wait, so you need, in order to work your way through the system, to get through all the upgrades and everything, you need, Kerblam, 1.0. And that's where we meet Twirly, who's probably my favourite non-character in this episode. He's the original delivery bot. And he's kind of got his opening gag is like, people who bought this also checked out these other items and doing the Amazon thing. I'm like, all right, now we're on point. So Twirly loses power because obviously he's been like sat in this cabinet for 200 odd years. They need to sort of recharge him. He said most people lead lives of quiet desperation. Sounds about right. Yeah, so they basically now they're trying to work everything out, see what's going on, see what's going on behind the conspiracy. They managed to repower Twirly. He starts giving another list of things. And she sort of says, okay, look, we need to cut through all your protocols and, you know, tell us what's going on. You know, and he's like, I'm confused. I don't understand. You don't want me to deliver something? You don't want me to inquire? No, okay. This is against my protocol. I don't understand. And this is why Twirly's probably my favourite, because he's kind of cute and he is just he is his own system. He doesn't know. So she's like, look, I need you to go through the system, go back as far as you can to the oldest thing you remember, and then bring it back to me as retrieve and deliver. I can do that. Prior to that, Judy like shows her credentials to say, no, I work for the company. Please, you know, do what she asks you. And he's like, yes, retrieve and deliver. So she connects him to the system, like with a port. He's like, this might tickle a little bit. Everything gets a bit wibbly wobbly. She unpulls it out. She's like, oh, Twirly, you okay? And he's like, help me. And I'm like, what? Yeah, wait, why are you saying that? Said, I'm not Twirly. I'm the system. Help me. So it turns out they always thought that the system was the one working against the human workers, but it's not. It's the system that needs help, which is an interesting plot twist. Anyway, everyone ends up down in the basement. So they've all separated out. Yaz, Ryan, and Charlie break rule number 1 and go down the conveyor belt system. Again, Ryan's distracted, comes back up. He says, I've got coordination issues, which is going to make this, you know, not impossible, but interesting. And yeah, it's my initial thoughts were Monsters Inc. with all the doors and everything, but also they did a similar scene in Toy Story 2 where they're all riding the conveyor belts. At one point, Charlie falls off. He's like, oh no, Charlie! And yeah, so they're riding the conveyor belts. They manage to stick together through the entire system, which looks hella scary. I wouldn't do that. They're on conveyor belts, which are no more than this wide. You know, about a person, a little bit above a person width, wide, with no guardrails because, you know, it's just for packages, not organics. That's a whole action sequence, which was a lot of fun. I will grant you, it was a lot of fun. Excuse me, let me just fix my towel again because I don't want to get a damp neck. Yeah, so there we go. So yeah, they end up down the basement. There's a whole sequence where they get deconned, and they get things shot at them. So that's so that all happens. A big bit of action sequence there. The Doctor manages to get everyone else down into the basement by manipulating the transmat in the robot's head. By this point, Pinstripe's caught up with them because why are you doing with Twirly? What's going on here? And it turns out Pinstripe's not behind it either, because Pinstripe has been keeping everything analog to track the people that have gone missing. And Judy's like, well, why didn't you tell me? I'm head of people. I should know this stuff. He's like, I didn't ever trust you. And so basically they weren't sure if they could trust each other because they didn't know where else to go because there is no police. They are the authority on the Kerblam moon. So yeah, they're both suspecting each other and neither of them did anything. There's kind of a moment where he points the gun and the Doctor uses her Rishi Nikito, which she used before, but I forgot to mention. It's not nice when you pointing guns at people. I didn't really warm to you. And he's like, no, I'm. So it turns out both of them are innocent. So you've got a situation where both the admin people, the people you usually suspect as being the ones behind everything, are genuinely innocent. Oh yeah, I've lost everyone. Ah well, Karen talking to myself. So yeah, everyone's in the basement, and you discover this huge army of delivery bots, all with a package ready to go. And they're like, whoa, what's going on? And they're like, wait, no, there has been some delivery delays. Like, oh, and they get the idea that maybe the reason, having all these delays is saving up power for one massive transport. But why? What would be the point? Meanwhile, young Kira has been told that she's employee of the day. And she's like, oh, wow, didn't even know there was such a thing. So these two bots are taking her down to this area, like down in the basement area, saying that, you get a prize, you get a gift. Again, this is a young woman who's only ever had one present in her life. So you think, oh, okay. So the system, this is how they end up back in the everyone and Judy end up back in the basement, because she was saying that the first lot of people that have gone missing, as far as she can tell, are still on the system. Kira goes off the system and like, why? And they're like, oh wait, the system's trying to warn us. And this is where we find out, oh, the system's the one that called for help. So Kira gets taken down into this room. She's sort of locked in. She's a bit weirded out. But she's like, oh, okay, all right, I'll just sit here, wait quietly. Meanwhile, so there's like a two-way glass. So she's like looking out, and then they can see her, but she can't see them. And Charlie's like banging on the door. So no. So she gets a parcel, and she's like, oh, and it's this really sweet moment where she's like, oh, and opens it up. And it's kind of like, it's empty. And meanwhile, the doctor and the robot arm look at the robot army, and she opens one of the packages. She's like, it's just a toy. Because thinking, oh, is it weapons? And like, they're like, no, they're all going to be different. They're all going to be different. And she's like, wait, there's one thing they've all got in common. Because you see them packaging it up in dispatch. And it's the one thing that's in Kira's box. Now, this is kind of a heartbreak moment, because it's like, Kira's opening the box and there's nothing in there. She's like, oh, it's a gift, and it wasn't a gift, but there's bubble wrap in there. So she does what everyone does when bubble wrap is given to them, and she pops it, and there's green stuff, and Kira dies. And I got really sad, because I like Kira. She was adorable and very sweet. And meanwhile, on this whole time, Charlie's been banging on the thing, and they're like, you knew something. Anyway, they all catch up. They're all down in the thing. They're like, so that's the thing. That's what everything has in common, is bubble wrap. The bubble wrap got weaponized. I'm sorry. I did not see that coming. I'm genuinely like, that's different. That's a little bit new and original, and I quite liked that. I quite like that they weaponized the bubble wrap to be this explosive gas, which kills people kind of horribly. Poor Kira. Oh yeah, everyone else is dead as well, because they find this organic goop. So they got liquid ice. Not nice. And poor Dan, we hardly knew ye. But yeah, it's poor Kira bites it, and it turns out, the whole thing turns out it's Charlie is this kind of self-made revolutionary. He lied on his application to make Judy feel sorry for him to get the job, but it turns out actually he's been studying cybernetics and biochemistry and stuff, and he's the one that weaponized the bubble wrap so that everyone would stop trusting the system, so there'd be more people could work, because at the moment it's 10%, but what happens if it's 7% or 0%? It's kind of like an up the workers thing. And this is where I said that I think that's where it comes in a bit political, and I don't, because kind of, I'm not sure how to sort of say this, but also it's like, is this a little bit anti-millennial, like the millennials are trying to change the world and like buck the system, but in this case the system was fighting back. I think it's implied that Charlie was a lone wolf in this instance. That he thought he was, doing right, but clearly he's doing wrong. So yeah, he kind of disappears into the robot army. Meanwhile, the Doctor, because he sets the protocol, because he's got this disc thing. He sets the protocols to have everyone deliver at the same time, and obviously all these people will be opening up these packages and playing with the bubble wrap and deading. That's why he was kidnapping people, was to work on the formula, get it right. And the reason, so it turns out the original bot in the office was deliberately attacking Charlie because the system recognised that he was the problem. And as the Doctor mentioned before, the janitor, the person that can go everywhere and is barely noticed by anybody. Which I can attest to that. I've been a cleaner, and you can just go wherever. It's quite not a power trip, but it's like, yeah, you can just sort of go in, oh, excuse me, sir, excuse me, ma'am, just do my job. And you do hear things. Nothing I can remember right now, but people do sort of talk. And they're not necessarily deliberately ignoring you, but they're just, you're doing your job, they're getting on with their lives, and it's just the way of it. So yeah, the reason the system took Kira is because it tried to attack him directly. That didn't work, so it took something he cared about. And the Doctor's like, imagine, that's what those people are going to feel like when, people get lost. They lose people they care about. Think about that. So he sort of wanders off into the thing. The Doctor, with the help of Twirly, manages to hack into the system, rewire. Yeah, basically, and they said, okay, we need to flip these protocols around. Okay, everyone listen to me. We are listening. Change the delivery address, all deliveries to come to this warehouse. So, and then open the boxes and do what everyone does when they meet see bubble wrap. And so they call it the bubble wrap protocol. So yeah, Charlie's disappeared into the robot army just on a rant. And they're like, no, Charlie, come back. Graham's like, come back, mate, come back. He's like, I'm not your mate. And the Doctor's like, no, Charlie, this is your last chance. You need to come back. And they're like, no, it's the last possible moment. The Doctor transport them back out, and you see this wave of green explosions, where all the robots, which is a huge waste of delivery bots, where they all blow up, and you see Charlie's face is like, oh, so yeah, Charlie's deaded as well. Less sad about him dying. So yeah, cut to the end. They're all Judy and Pinstripe are talking to the gang and saying, like, you can, we're shutting down the system for a little while. We're getting everything sorted out. We've given everyone two weeks paid leave plus free transport to get to and from, see their families and all that. We're gonna look at the systems and try and make it a bit more human led. But we've always got room for people in management if you're interested. And they're like, we're freelance, thanks. So they say their goodbyes. They go back onto the TARDIS, and Yaz is like, oh, I've just got one more request, because he kept Dan's pendant, and says basically, I want to give this back to his daughter and let her know how much her dad it meant to her dad, and the fact that if it wasn't for him going down there and saying, look, I'll do this for you because you're new, looking out for Yaz, basically, then she probably would have been goo. So yeah, it just has a sort of nice, quiet, melancholy ending where they just go see Dan's daughter and give her back the necklace. So yeah, overall, like I said, I enjoyed it. I think it was interesting. You could probably do some political reading into it, and maybe other people will. But as someone who's done like menial sort of jobs and warehousey stuff, it was relatable. It felt real. I'm going to do something I don't normally do about it, and I'll talk about the teaser for a moment, because it looks like it's some kind of anti-witch, like medieval witch burning, like witchfinder general kind of thing going on there. I think they name check one of the King Jameses. I can't quite remember. I've only watched it once. But there is a person at the end of the teaser that can't be who I think it is. but he's the one right at the end of the teaser that goes, "Burn the witch." And no, it really can't be him because there's no reason it would be him. But my God, does that person look like Capaldi? It probably isn't because that would just be weird. But yeah, this guy at the end who's saying "Burn the witch" really, really looks like Peter C, and that was kind of strange to me. So yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts. I enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying Jodie's performance as a Doctor. I'm enjoying the companions. Like I said, my main concern with the companions going in was that there might be too many of them. But as individuals, as people, and they've all got, again, hello. Yes, please do, and let me know. Hello, Richard. Nice to see you. Yeah, please do rewatch the trailer and teaser and let me see if you can see what I think, because I'm probably wrong, but let me see if it's not just me. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. Yeah, so I liked it. Everyone's going well. I kind of agree with what other people are saying, that Yaz still seems to be the less developed, but that doesn't make her a bad person. She does get a kind of a moment where she's restraining Charlie. You know, so it's like her police training comes into play. He manages to get away, but she is like, you know, non-lethal restraints, which I thought was kind of cool. But yeah, it is still crowded TARDIS, but I think they're keeping the balance well with the companions, and everyone gets a moment. Yeah, 3 companions is a stretch. They have 3 originally Hartnell, but that was always hard. So Yaz is certainly the least. Yes, which is a shame because she's doing a very good job. The actress, I've got no problems with the actress, but yeah, and Hartnell did have 3, and Peter D had 3. And I suppose depending on if you count when River was on board, Team Pond there was 3 or 4 of them then. I suppose there was a moment when Boomtown was, you know, they had 3 when you had Jack, Mickey, and Rose, but that was that one episode, and it balanced out quite well. Yeah, 3 feels a bit crowded, and Yaz, I think, is getting left in the shuffle, but that doesn't mean she's doing badly. It just means that the balance is. But no, overall, I liked it. I like Yaz got lots to do last week, so that's cool. They are finding everything to do, but yes, I feel Yaz is the least developed, but that doesn't mean she's a bad character, just that they haven't got as much for her to do. I'm definitely repeating myself now. My throat's starting to hurt, and I'm getting hungry. So, yes. Kerblam! Fun episode. I enjoyed it. Thank you. I appreciate the smiley. So yeah, anyway, if you have been watching live, then awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you. Richard, you're the only one here at the moment, but other people were watching live earlier. Thank you. You're awesome. And for anyone watching it back later on, again, appreciate it. Thank you. So in the meantime, I've been Michelle, you've been listening, and I will see you next week. Bye!